Today's Easy 99.1 presents South of Boston, a weekly discussion of the happenings, business, and community events from Quincy to the South Coast and beyond. Any opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or staff of today's Easy 99.1. It's South of Boston with this week's host, Pat Carroll.
Good morning and welcome to Sunday. If you like helping people and giving back to the community and you're looking for something to do on May 27, head on down to Manomet to their 2018 Wellness Fair. There will be spirit mediums, tarot and angel card readers, holistic practitioners, vendors, informational booths for health and wellness, and much more. One of our very loyal and longtime listeners is very involved with this fair, Amy Thevenin. So she's here with us this morning, and she brought along a friend, Brant, the Evidential Medium. Now, I don't know what that means, Evidential Medium, so let's ask him. So, good morning, Brant, and welcome to the show. We'll start with you because I'm really interested in knowing what an Evidential Medium is.
Certainly. I'm more than happy to explain. So, an Evidential Medium is somebody who actually talks and works with spirit and tries to give statements. With an Evidential Medium, we try to prove the continuity of life. And the only way to do that is by delivering specific characteristics of your departed loved ones. So it's kind of like somebody saying, your mom had a necklace, right? Great. Well, if you're asking it as a question, it's not really coming across as evidence. But if you say, oh, your mom's telling me she had a necklace. She told me that it was pearls, and she actually gave it to you on her deathbed because she wanted you to have it. She's telling me you've actually stuck it in the drawer and you're afraid to wear it. Like, it's taking it that extra level and going a little bit further and a little bit more deeper, both with a conversation with spirit and in facts of the evidence of what they're giving forth.
I like that much better.
I know, I do too.
Because it's more specific. And nothing against mediums. I've been to mediums, and I do believe, but it just seems sometimes they can be very vague, and it could really apply to various people, especially when you're doing a gallery reading.
Right.
To say, oh, I'm feeling someone pass from the chest. Well, there could be 50 people in the room who had someone passing from the chest.
Right. And the whole thing with that is, we're working with your loved ones. And we kind of forget, I think, here that spirit's still people. And, you're going to have a good rapport with some people. You're going to meet some people, and it's going to be like, hey, I feel like I know you. Like when Amy and I met, it was very easy. It was just very... I don't know. I couldn't really put it into words. It was just easy. It was like we've known each other.
Kindred spirits.
Yes,
would
exactly.
You say?
Exactly. And, it was just an easy dialogue. When those types of things happen, that's when the real, what I say, magic happens. Like going back to spiritual people, there are some people that you meet and you don't really have a great, rapport with. It's kind of like, oh, how's the weather? Great. Cold. Great. All right. So, it's sometimes can be difficult that way.
They're not helping you out at all.
Well, we kind of think when we die, we go to the other side and there's all miracles. It is a miracle. Let's be honest. Anytime, something's happening, there's a miracle taking place. But they don't necessarily know everything. They're still people. They still have their personality. If Uncle Joe was, thought he was funny here on Earth, he still thinks he's funny there on the other side. And that comes across as evidence.
That's funny.
But there's also those times where, when we're working with them, we're trying to feel, where is your loved one in the audience? Like, help draw me. Like, I might feel pulled over here, or I might feel, they might be giving me a characteristic, and I try to come to them. I might not get the name right, but I might end up getting, how tall they were, what they looked like, the fact that they were a plumber for work. Those are the types of things that help really establish the communication, whether it's you're on a one-on-one or in a large gallery.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Do you have a problem with people who are skeptical? Like if they're just not believing you or into this, does that kind of shut you down? Or
it can, because it's not just me, right? And it's not just spirit. And again, going back to the fact that they're people, it takes three people to make this happen. There's me, because I'm a translator, right? Mm-hmm. And just like a language translator, if somebody's translating from Japanese into English and there's somebody in the middle of that, there's still the ability to misinterpret or kind of even what's being said. So I've really got to make sure that the rapport that I'm getting with spirit, I'm understanding very correctly. Because, you know, if it's like words we have, right? We have the word there, right? We have THEIR. We have THEY apostrophe RE. I mean, there's so many different ways to interpret things.
True.
And if I'm doing my job correctly, I'm saying, all right, spirit, this is what they're giving me. If it doesn't make sense to the person sitting and receiving the message, I have to go back to spirit and say, they're not getting it. You know, show me in a different way. Tell me in a different way so that they can understand, or I can bring it across better for them.
Now, well, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Finally getting this. Explain tarot cards to me. How does that work? Do you do tarot?
I do.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different. Like when I'm working with spirit, I'm directing my energy essentially straight up. But when I'm working with tarot cards, I'm working more with the universal energy. So, yes, you know, the tarot cards, they have signs, they have symbols and things on it. But a lot of times when I look at the tarot cards, they tell me something different, or I might feel something different. I move my energy in conjunction with yours, and I move it forward and backward in time in order to try to understand what it is that's trying to be said to me. And with that, it's just a little different. It's more me interpreting. But if I had, like, there's a card that's the Queen of Pentacles, right? I might look at it for you and say, oh, you know, you're actually going through a change in your finances. You're actually looking to, you know, sell your house, and you're actually looking for, you know, kind of establishing a whole new retirement. Whereas if I looked at it for, say, Amy, I may actually say, oh, you're actually about to become a grandmother, and there's a whole new, you know, aspect of, like, happening in that way. So the cards actually speak to me, and it's not necessarily the same card is going to tell me the exact same thing every time.
All right, I want to be the grandmother. Let's just get this straight. I only have one. I need more. Okay. So, and you're going to be at the wellness fair, which Amy's going to talk about in a minute. But so you'll be doing tarot card readings and speaking with people at the fair.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've been formally trained by some of the real prominent and well-known mediums, both in the country and in the world. And, you know, a lot of people, some of them are actually kind of scared. They're not really sure what to expect. You know, I was raised Catholic. And even back in high school, well, actually grammar school, my first grade teacher is a nun. She's still a friend of the family. And when I was losing my mom, and my mom was transitioning, her and I sat down, and I said, Sister, I don't know if I believe in God anymore. And she literally said, do you believe in something? And I'm like, I guess I believe in some sort of a universal consciousness. And she said, I don't care if it's Buddha, I don't care if it's Yahweh, universe, or God, so long as you believe in something. Because we're all praying to the same people. We just have it as a different label based upon whatever culture we're doing. And that's really kind of helped and changed, you know, what it is that we're trying, you know, to do. I was given this gift. You know, I was born with it. And even when first grade, when, you know, Sister Teresa was saying, you know, oh, this is what happened, and Jesus died for our sins, and why all this. And part of me is like going, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right. This didn't happen. And she's like, in this school, it is, young man. But, you know,
mess with those nuns.
But I mean, even she's come a long way, right? You know, I'm doing this work now for in school and training and developing for almost 6 years. And, you know, the medium that started out is different than the medium now. And just like my first grade teacher, the nun that she started out to be and the nun she is now are two completely different people. And the whole thing with that is, you know, we're answering a calling. You know, I really feel like I'm answering a calling. I'm not here to force something down someone's throat. I'm going to let you know, hey, if you allow me to, this is what I'm picking up. If it works and it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, then we'll, you know, that's fine too. I just want to make sure that whatever happens, you know, I'm doing the work for the highest and best and bringing love and healing to those who need it.
Well, that's awesome. So if you would like to go see Brant at the fair, we're going to be giving you information in a moment about where it is, when it is. Well, we know when it is, May 27th, but he's doing tarot cards and reading. So if you're intrigued by Brant, go see him. I want to ask Brant real quickly. I know I didn't want to keep going back and forth, but do you tell people if you see a bad card, Do you have to do a poker face and like tell them something else, or do you tell them?
It's funny because it's just because a bad card comes up doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing is going to happen.
Okay.
When I was working in Salem for October, the Halloween.
Which city?
I know, huh? I had a kid actually come up, and I work with kids, to an extent, but like I don't have the greatest probably, what are you going to tell like a 12-year-old? Oh, you're going to, meet the man or the woman and, you're going to have 3 kids. You keep it light and fluffy.
True.
But
you're going to make the soccer team. You're not going to have acne.
Exactly. But there was this one kid that actually sat down and I was looking at him and I'm like, oh, he's got something, bigger to do. And he was like, I don't know if I should go into the armed forces or if I should go to college. I'm like, all right, pull cards. And as I'm shuffling, I'm like, you're the spitting image of your grandfather. He's like, yeah. I said, you doing this because you want to follow in his footsteps? He's like, yeah. And I said, it's not the Army, so it's either the Navy or the Air Force. He's like, yeah. I said, pull a card. He pulls the anchor. But in the rest of the cards, he also saw the death card. And he's like, oh, my God, if I go and I'm going to die? I'm like, no. But what I am seeing is that you need to get real comfortable with death because it's going to be around you. Doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means you need to get comfortable with that. And that's that's what we're supposed to be doing, is helping our clients in that type of way.
I see. So it's also kind of how you interpret.
Right. Right. And it's there are times where, stuff like that comes in. And, we're here to help. It doesn't necessarily mean, I even had a client that said, when am I going to die? I'm like, the cards aren't telling me. There's some stuff that I may never see. It just said that you have the ability to change it because it hasn't been written yet.
So you can rewrite history. Okay.
We all have free will. We have to remember that.
That
just
is
because
true.
somebody says something doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's all, what I tell my clients is it's all in, me reading the cards based upon the decisions and actions you would normally make. So when I'm perceiving these cards, it's based upon that. But now that you've got this knowledge, you have the ability to change it. Doesn't mean it necessarily has to be.
All right. Intriguing. Well, thank you so much, all of you. So once again, the Loyal Order of Moose Lodge 2485 in Plymouth will benefit from the Psychic and Wellness Fair in Manomet on May 27, 11 to 4. Head on down and help them out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
South of Boston, presented weekly at this time on Today's Easy 99.1. Any reproduction or use of this program without the expressed written permission of Today's Easy 99.1 is prohibited. Join us next Sunday morning for South of Boston, a public affairs presentation of Today's Easy 99.1.